Check, check, check. Here we go. Finally got it working. I'm over here. I'm over here talking, and I'm looking over at my little audio mixer here, and nothing is going over. So as I was attempting to say, good evening, or whatever time it may be, wherever you are in the damn world. My name is Joseph. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between. We have more Undertale Yellow here as your least favorite old head gamer once again attempts to get good at this game, tries and fails. Let's go ahead and move it over here. If you've watched one of the streams, you might have noticed a couple things been moved around. I've gotten somebody working on kind of updating my graphics a little bit and stuff too. I mean, this Titantron I think is a graphic from like 99. I know the D in Joseph D32 is definitely a pre 2010 image. So like these images are old as shiz. So I got I got somebody working on that to kind of upgrade it a little bit. Basically, I want to keep the same idea, the same basic look, just something that was actually designed with a 16:9 monitor and HD in mind. And another thing I need to do here is go ahead and unmute that, because it would be nice this time to actually have game audio go over the stream, right? I'm over here playing a game, talking about, oh, let's see. Is this going over? That is not going over. That is going over. There we go. I'm over here talking about how I like that particular piece of music that was playing, and I'm the only one that could hear it. None of you guys could. So I realized, at the end of stream that none of that audio went over. Oopsie. A little bit of quesadilla there. I don't know what the hell that dance was, but that got my Cola Coca. Actually, it's not Cola Coca. It's Pepsi Zero. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, is he one of these guys that eats on stream? Yes. Yes, I do. I eat on stream. I drink soda on stream. Sometimes I drink water or even cranberry juice. It's not exclusively soda. And I play really, really poorly at video games, such as this. So, as you see, flour here, plug, bruh. That's why I need the caffeine. And I'm an asshole. That is right. Gamer Dude 3106, Black Leather Crew Productions' own Gamer Dude 3106. Interesting to see you here. I haven't seen you stream in a while, bruh. That's okay. I take, months off at a time too. So not intentionally. I just sometimes forget that I'm streaming. And I'm not streaming anymore. Or, I meant to go back to this game and just never did. How you doing, man? How are you? Dust particle or something like that on my bill of my cap. That's called work. It's called work. Hardly have any time, especially dealing with Oh yeah, okay. Well, I know about the work part. Dealing with a baby. This is I believe this is the first time I'm hearing this. I was not prepared for that. When did this happen? When the hell did this happen? Remember correctly, do not stomp on any of the... Try not to stomp on any of these gimmicks here. These flowers. I'll walk around them if I can. First time I played this, I didn't even realize those were flowers. Surprise, yeah. Are congrats in order, or I don't know how to react to this, because if congrats are in order, then congrats. If not, then we'll leave it the frig alone. Here inside the box to find some gravity granola. Take it? Yes. Not enough. No problem. Put an ice water in there. Here inside and take gravity granola. Yeah, there we go. Box. Nothing of interest here. Okay. More shocking, Billy getting... That happened a while ago, though. Let's see. Ooh, this one might not be avoidable. Damn it. What was that? That was the one... That flower is not avoidable. Okay, I'll be brutally honest with you. I don't even remember how this boss plays out. I just... Gardner, Model 02, at this damaged... Oh, hello there. Was it you who disturbed the floor prop? I ask you to please have more respect. We apologize. It won't happen again. Do not worry. Seeing that the child is so young, it is for your trouble. I will report the incident as a level 3.03 for LLEE. Okay. Level 10 offense. Level 10 means termination of the trampler. Hold on! Very well. Let me turn my main speakers off here. Not off, but down. Turn my main speakers down because oh, okay. Got find a way out of this fast. Got vines over the smells like lawnmower clippings. I have incapacitated your options. I ask you to cooperate with me. White spores swirl through the air. Accept your offense, trampler. You must learn that plant life is important, more important than you. Turner slams her arms into the floor in agitation. If you do not yield, I will call for backup. Anyway, there, gamer dude. Welcome aboard. This is Undertale Yellow. This released late last year. Won't say end of November. Around the end of November. Might have been December. I don't know the exact release date, but I know it was late last year. You are a handful. I am going to count to 3. Ish. One. Item. Root Brewski. You down the root beer. It tingles. Your HP was maxed out. 1. Oh. Alright, so the act button is now free too. Not bluffing. Okay. Great hostility is bluffing. Guard dinner. Grabs offenders for easy apprehension. I like a guard dinner. 3. Pulling back up. God for help, Gardner! Correct. This traveler does not value the greenhouse. What is the offense level, miss? 10. Termination. Oh, 10! I mean, of course. We're sorry, offender. Gardner says you deserve termination. You know, I just said that. So, attack right. Only getting worse. Stop your effort, Prius. Ah. Start down the beat. HP was maxed out. Keep it up. Please stay in your confines. Hell no. Damn it. Gardner slams her arms into the floor in hesitation. Please stay in your confines. That one comes up so quickly. Please stay in your confines. Right into it. Let me see, grassy fries. You plug your nose and down the grassy fries. This is what life is. Ish. Ah! Not good. Okay. Gardner, water your cage. Way to go. I'll do what I can to help us escape for good. Cleverly done. You have gained my respect, but you have not gained my mercy. Bots. Attack. Yeesh. Yo, that is not a lot of room at all to maneuver. Adequate job. Thank you for your help. No problem, Gardner. Yeah, give us a call anytime. Even just to hang out or not. It's NVD. Just you and I again. It is too bad I cannot grow tired. For you, that is. Damn it! One more hit. Yeesh! God damn it! Damn it. One. Two. Not bluffing. Couple little cheese spots there. Pulling back up. Correct. Good. Yeah, sorry, offender. Partner says you deserve termination. You know. I just realized Gardner also has a Delta rune on their piece, I guess. Please stay in your confines. The easy one. Way to go! Ah. You pick some flowers that Gardner is too distracted. Just you and I again. Just too bad I can't go there. For you, that is. Sounds like they borrowed the sound effect from Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm here for the attack. Oh, you missed it. And yo, thanks. Should I attack a little? By all means. Oh, shoot. This dude packing. Still pending. You are rather upsetting. Eh. I think, bombs. Okay. I think, Gamer Dude 3106 knows that I am rather upsetting. Just wait until my creator hears about this. He will get a long lecture. A lecture more painful than anything I'm doing. True torture. Now see, my offense level is down. It's no longer 10, right? So... after that, the head office will give you an award. Excellence in ruining Gardner's day. Deserved. Ah, shit. Give in already. Moss salad. Brace yourself and eat the moss salad. Texture can only be described as isolationist. Wait, offense level lowered. Oh, what happened? Seems to be a gap in my memory core. I am sorry. I think that did the trick. Pretty clever in intense situations. I am impressed. Got it. Winner. Response negative. Hello, creator. Are you there? I believe my creator may be playing a practical joke on me. Signaling Steamworks head office. The line you are contacting has been disconnected. Where is everybody? You probably killed them all. I have allowed immense overgrowth. I understand. It seems my day has passed. Gentle report and reinitiate hibernation. Hibernation sequence. Sorry for forgetting anything. I do not know what the world is right now, nor do I wish to. Alright, bro. Life was much better not knowing. Let's keep moving. say? Something. Televis tunes in. Yep. Kelly, Nagel, her antennas. Oh. Oh, hey, I'm picking something up. Okay. Scene 8. 8 reruns. Be something new. Kelly. Hard disagree. Here comes the best part. Unit. Ah! Damn it. Two paths. Hold on. Symbol. I've seen it on Shujin's work uniform. Let me try one of his codes. Close that out real quick. And we'll go back to this. There we go. All right. Oh. Back into the game window. Doesn't accept any input unless you're in that game window. Seriously, same codes as the Doom game. No wonder access is so vigilant. After you. Ladder of success. Oh, hey. Hello. Rusted through. If the receptionist is unresponsive, check with the robot control station. 3 4. Robot control. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? You zoned out. Listen. A breaker box for all the robots in the area. We can shut access down and get to hotline it. Oh, okay. Wishing everyone a productive final workday. Feel free to take pictures with your creations as they must be left behind. As always, thank you for your contributions to the Steamworks. Tomorrow means the surface. Does it though? Getting True Lab vibes here. Anybody, if you've played, I know Gamer Dude, you probably haven't, but anybody watching this on VOD or on Kick who played Undertale and you've played through the True Lab. You knock on a steel structure. It echoes with a deep clank. Good morning, Steamworks employees. You ready for another day of productivity? Today we are boxing and shipping goods out into the underground. Hello, new hire. Yes, I am fully sentient. Trapped in this two-dimensional rectangle for all eternity. Right. Like the doors in the factory. Sorry, but each morning we do a little thing called Earn Your Freedom! Complete a full shipment and you'll be on your way. When there's a quota to meet, ethics go out the window. Haven't you worked a job before? Of course I don't work here. So you're trespassing? In that case, fine, we'll do the job. But might have to make a but it says to avoid work thing, right? Push the start button and we'll get it over with. What are you doing? Put red items in red boxes and blue in blue boxes. 3 strikes and you're out! Your machine's broken. Second conveyor belt doesn't move. No. Yes? It's broke. No. Screw this. Over. You box the goods and I'll toss them into the chute. Teamwork, right? Something like that. Give it a shot. 3, 2, 1. Buttons are backwards though. Damn it. Better try again. Wait, what? Bro, that one's both blue and red, though. Like, well, it's kind of greenish, I guess, actually. What? Bro, those are correct. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. Hmm. Hmm. An unfortunate incident. Hmm. Another one of these stupid ass games. Fun. Hello again. The shipment is almost complete. One final step, and you may have the passcode to exit. All you have to do is sort each colored package, tilting that platform left or right. Pretty obvious. Bluetooth paid attention. Learning colors in preschool. Ready? Here goes nothing. Okay. Ah. Okay. Coming back down. That's good because that one was that one there was botched, but I already got it. Great job, everyone. Can't spell Steamworks without teamwork. Can't spell it without steak either, but that has absolutely no bearing on this situation. Let's see how you did. Calculating. Oh, you barely scraped by. But that's what performance reports are for. It isn't our fault that this was so impractical. It would take 2 giant steps to ship a few packages. Why can't we sort colors when boxing them in the first round? Beats me. Being built by such great minds, teamworks are awfully convoluted. It takes a massive IQ to understand the complexities of the steamwork. Your brain really isn't advanced enough. This is the wall-mounted GIF comprised of 3 pixels. You can take a little passcode and just give us the code. 3711. Got it? 3711. No, thank you, employees. Thank you for making the underground a little brighter. 3711. Works emergency escape plan, or MEEP. In case someone sets the room on fire, do not use the elevator. Evacuate down to floor 01 or use a passcode to access floor 03. Really lock this place up tight. Well, the code was found nearby on the first floor. Take a look around. There you are. Seriously want to do this again? Yes. Remember the explosion that incapacitated you? Yes. Douche! Cannot resist arrest any longer. Stand still and let my handsome hand shine. Like, shoot. My vision. Initiating 16-volt super flashlight. 95% of power utilized. Typography box standard. What do you mean? Oh. This is this is bad. Oh well. Unlike them, I have eyes. Okay. Stay out of his view. Keep quiet. As I was saying, maybe a code around here. If you find it, head for the exit. Hello. How are you doing these days? Not so good. You can only speak like 15 characters max back there. Kind of bummed me out. Sorry to hear that. Let's get your full speech ability back. You like talking? Wait. Are you trying to distract me from my mission? No. Oh, okay. I asked you a question involving the security of teamwork. Yes, I am a security expert. I look at some doors require a passcode to unlock. And others require a teamwork ID. Two-factor authentication. Huh. Cool. Probably another code to find. You know the drill. PC sitting on two desktops. The pipe, yeah, the old what's it called, the old pipe screensaver. Where he guard bot. The project access. Close at the game. Getting embarrassing. horses. Hello, I welcome you into my body. Wherever would you like to go? Top floor? Did you say basement? Get us to the roof, out of here, wherever. I carry a negative opinion of you. Getting to out of here. Fall into the underground? What happened to those kids? Global mission discussed. Assuming you haven't found them yet, though. We have arrived at out of here. Well, better get moving. Jandroid and Goose. They seem offended. You're rude. Take this. Damn. Let's. Is that more volume? Ah. Yeah. That's a hell of a combo, actually. Damn, we're gonna have to sit through this again. One 478 or 64. Fast. Right. Back into the right window, so okay. Really doesn't matter which one you select then. Rinse repeated. Damn. Slippery shit. Slippery as hell. Even if you avoid them, you're just gonna slide into another one. Shit. Damn it. Can't flee either, huh? It's gonna slide right into another one. I'll try, Flowey. I'll try. Drive that out of here. Oh. Whoa. This is our ticket out of here. Have to, fix that. Technology and I don't exactly mix well. Press one of the buttons. Robotics control status functioning at 78%. Awaiting, excuse me, awaiting input. Main directory. Could not complete task. Just kidding. Emergency shutdown complete. But the line had to be drawn. And we won't pass the line. Go. Furnace. Gravity granola inside the machine. Take it? Yes. The face is burned into the machine screen, staring out into the dim chasm of rock and steel. Hey! Who did that? Clover, you can hear me, right? I'm trying to blast a hole in this thing. It'll take a lot to break through. I think we're almost free of this place. Look around for a switch or keypad. There's always one near doors. Main power source not found. Initiating emergency backup power. What was that? Did I just hear Axis? You tried to shut me down. I have had it with you and your friend thwarting my plans. I am this close to directing all my steam into my rude finger. And yet, I am yelling. My typography box just lacks the exclamation point character. Be shame, but at least I have question marks. Clover, I don't think we can outrun this guy any longer. Let's try to find a peaceful way to outwit him. Sorry, but I don't want Shuriken's creation smashed to bits. Outwit? Maybe. Outgun? Never. I am ticked off and out of non-lethal options. So prepare yourself. I am attacking now. What? My programming is preventing me from attack. Says you are not a current threat or resisting arrest. Forget this. Here, I will make you a threat. Hold this to suit you. There. Now you have a drawn weapon. Loopholes are wonderful, are they not? Now, time to die. Axis model 014, ready to attack. Got a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Matrix-like background. What are you doing with that lid? It's not supposed to be useful. It's cheating. What was that? What did I say? Is not a word. Why did I say that? Holy Ravioli 01 is playing Call of Duty. Have fun doing that. What? Oh. He's not great at his job. If he could frown, he would. Damn! What are you doing with that lid? It was not supposed to be useful. That is cheating. Not a word. Why did I say that? Smells like an unfortunate barbecue. Honestly, does not appreciate it. Oh, no! I had that block, though! Damn it. Quit dodging. Damn you. Here's mine. Got it. I did it again. Ow. Wait. This is your doing. Of course it is. Do not suck me again, okay? Death by metal and magic. Starting to regret giving you that lid. Could you please drop it? Just kick it into the fiery pit below us. Simple. Damn it. That is enough. Unbeknownst to you, I brought a backup plan. Portable generators equal infinite battery. Good luck. Over. I'm almost through. Whatever you're doing, it seems to be working. Keep at it till he's out of juice. I can hear you. You do think you're so smart. Ha! I do not run on juice. In fact, I do not run at all. I roll, obviously. Damn it. That is really, really difficult because you have to move right there. Potato chips crunch is deafening. So if things hold to as they have the last things hold the way they have the last several streams, there's a pretty good chance I won't be finishing this boss tonight, and then I will immediately finish it next stream. That's if things hold according to normal. I wouldn't mind, though, going against the grain and actually beating this boss. Flows into one of his vents. We don't know how. Damn it. That one. Cause you don't you have to block the entire, like, it doesn't matter that the beam doesn't actually reach the center. It just matters that it's not being slightly deflected. Damn it. And yeah, throw it in such a manner that I can deflect it back at you, bitch ass. Thanks. Okay, thanks, bye. Unfortunate barbecue. Oh, come on! Got him. There we go. Obviously. That's some bullshit. Yo, that entire thing is bullshit though. What time it is? Okay. It is after 8 p.m. here. I'm gonna give it one more. I'm gonna give it one more go. And if we don't get it, then we will get it next time. Again, that does seem to be the kind of that does tend to be the usual. Why is the? Oh, I see. Okay, I see what's up. One more time. wondering how does this weapon work? Like, now I fired it up once, and you would think that would do the same thing, but. What am I getting hit by? You're supposed to move through that. I'm moving. Pay attention to this. Okay, I said we were going to try it one more time. That was one more time. But you know what? I'm going to amend that. We're going to try it one more time. Okay, that's... Clearly, Axis wasn't built to last. You can take him out, I'm sure of it. I am going to give it one more goddamn shot tonight. Because I have done better than that. What? Ding. Seriously? I am reaching unheard levels of ticked. Level 7 at least. Your fault. I am down to my last healing item. Screw you, screw you, screw you, screw you, screw you. Uh-oh. This isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. Guys, that's gonna be stream. We will be coming back to this, of course, next stream. Now, if you're watching this on Kick, or on VOD, on YouTube, whatever it might be, if you are watching as so, then what I'm about to do here really means nothing to you. But I am going to raid out on Twitch here to somebody. Who am I going to read out to? That's the question. Oops. All right. So yeah, like I said, that is going to be the end of this stream. I know the last couple of nights here, if you've been watching live, not really here on Twitch, but on Kick and on Twitter, I've been doing the Moy Bean and pro wrestling streams. I'm probably going to end up doing that again. I might even end up doing that again here tonight, actually, because I got to go back to work, and then I got to work another 12-hour shift again tomorrow. So, which means I'm just gonna come home, going right to sleep, and then going right to work. So there's really no reason for me not to. Now that I think about it, I might be doing that. Of course, like I said, here on Twitch, that's not really gonna matter to you. So for on Twitch, I am planning to be back on Wednesday. If I do something on the weekend, we'll see. Maybe Friday, maybe Sunday. We'll see what comes up. We'll see how I'm feeling and what all is going on outside of this room. That space outside that has grass. Whatever might be going on out there. If nothing's going on and I'm not just dead ass tired, then maybe I'll be back on the weekend. Otherwise, I will be back on Wednesday. Either way, in either case, we will be playing some more Undertale Yellow. I'm going to try to beat this goddamn robot and go on to whatever's next, whatever comes afterwards. So I'm not even sure exactly how far along in this game I am, but if it's similar links to Undertale, I'm pretty far along. I haven't really spent a lot of time, looking it up online and stuff, trying to avoid spoilers. Whereas Undertale, I pretty much knew everything that was going to happen before I even played it. This one, I really don't. So I'm gonna, obviously I know the main Undertale story, but I don't know the story of Undertale Yellow. So we will be getting, back more into that. All right. So I will be. I never know if I'm saying this correctly. Rachel Kamui, Camui. That will be who I raid out here on Twitch. And then, like I said, maybe I might start the not that one. Damn it. Might resume the AFK stream here in just a little bit on Kick and on X. There we go. So, however, whenever, wherever you guys are watching this, I want to thank you for doing so. If you're watching this live, obviously shout outs to my dude, GamerDude3106. Known the dude for years. Rolled up and down state and Vegas, and we've done a lot. So he's one third, probably half now at this point, if I'm being brutally honest, of Black Leather Crew. So yeah, Shout out to him. Shout out to anybody else watching. And like I said, shout out to you. You're watching this live. You're watching this VOD. You're watching this on Kick. You're watching this on YouTube at a later time. You're watching this. You just, for whatever damn reason, years later, years on, down the road, you just happen to come across this video and decide, for whatever the hell reason, hey, I want to watch this. Thank you for doing so. My name's Joseph. We got this bitch.